Suhail and welcome to the first episode of Tennis Talk with Ushna. Here you're going to know everything that's happening around in the world of tennis, starting off with the French Open 2023, the tournament reaching its tail end. Some interesting encounters that happened yesterday on the men's side between the 22 times Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic and the current youngest world number one, Carlos Alcaraz. Unfortunately, the match did not turn out the way we all expected it to be because Alcaraz suffering from the cramps, that he faced. But I think the first two sets were overall world class. Djokovic outrunning Alcaraz, dominating him in the first set. Taking a 5-2 lead. I think the sixth game of the first set was a bit crucial. Alcaraz had his chances to come back. He had his chances to break Djokovic. There were about 7 to 8 uses in that game, but he wasn't able to convert them. And Djokovic winning that first set comfortably 6-3. The second set altogether, I would say, was a very different story. I think Alcaraz, he was playing much better. His nerves were settling in. He was dealing with the pressure a lot better. He was going head to head with Djokovic. He broke Djokovic at 4-3, taking a 5-3 lead. Then again, he wasn't able to capitalize by holding his own serve. Then at 4-5, it was very impressive to see how Djokovic remained icy cool, being love 40 down in that game. Came up with some amazing first serves, and a couple of amazing forehand winners to level the second set at 5-all. You could see the disappointment on Alcaraz's face. He knew he should have, finished the second set there and then, but the impressive thing more so was to see how he did not let that completely affect him. He came back in the 10th game of the second set. He held his nerves, he held his serve, and then finally at 6-5, love 40 down Djokovic on his serve, he was able to break him and take the second set. And then in the third set, the whole drama started. Unfortunately, on the second game of the third set, Djokovic hits a pretty decent second serve, and Alcaraz turned around to hit an inside-in forehand, and that's exactly when he stamped his foot on the ground. He got a spasm, and the cramps came in, and that's where the intensity started dropping down. And the fans, everyone around the world could tell that it was all over for Alcaraz. Which was pretty sad. It's not the way he wanted it. Obviously, it's not the way the fans wanted it. It must be so difficult for his family, his team who were cheering on for him to see that slow death in a way on the tennis court. Because even if you are 100% fit, there's no guarantee that you're going to win against Novak Djokovic. But being in that sort of situation, it's a final loss. When you're up against a joker in a Grand Slam semi-final. And the credit that is to be given to Alcaraz though is that he understood the pressure and he understood the expectations that were from him in that match around the world, around the entire arena and from his fans. But he stayed on the tennis court till the last point. He made sure to give off the fans something before he left the tennis court. And on the other hand, no credit to be taken away from Novak Djokovic. Once again, he proved that his opponent has to be superhuman to be able to, physically beat him, especially in the Grand Slam semi-final. And talking about the second semi-final, which was, I would say, one-sided. Zverev not being able to come up with his 100% form. Casper Ruud just basically outclassing him in all aspects of the game. Although both have been Grand Slam finalists, but I think Casper Ruud has a better edge on clay because he's a much more consistent player. He has a much more complete game, and he was capitalizing on the big points when it mattered most in the semi-final, which obviously gave him the victory. And at some point, you felt that Zverev was giving up in the third set. He wasn't fully in it to win the match, but then again, no credit to be taken from Casper Ruud. And talking about the women's side now, Sabalenka, it was a very disappointing loss, to be honest. She was 5-2 up in that third set against Muchova. I think she was not able to finish the cross sign, and she was the favorite to win that match. Personally, for me, I think she was one of the best contenders to win this championship, but that's just part of the game, And you have to give the credit to Muchova for breaking the ice and finally reaching her first Grand Slam final. And on the other hand, she has Iga Swiatek to face, who's the current world number one. laser-like focus, impressive movement on the court, so consistent, so solid off the baseline. She doesn't give you off any free points, and even the way she came up with some shots in that tiebreak against Hadid Mai, playing some fearless tennis, hitting some fearless forehands down the line, some amazing, coming to the net, finishing off the points with some amazing volleys. It's going to be interesting to see how she tackles with Muchova in the final, because Muchova is in a great form at the moment. She's playing some amazing tennis, and it's going to be interesting to see how both the men and the women compete for the French Open 2023 title. So that's pretty much it, guys. Do leave your comments below and tell me what you think your views are on the French Open 2023, who you think is going to win the championship this year, both on the men's and the women's side. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will definitely come back to you with some more episodes and some more interesting tennis news around the world. Stay tuned.